yard site of Shlomo Carlebach, Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, and I asked Judy if I could do Dvar Torah about him. And she said, connect it with the Parsha, and yes, you may. So here we go. Thank you. Thank every one of you, and thank Kodesh Baruch that I'm here and I can do this. It's I don't take it for granted. Yeah. So Shlomo was a storytelling, singing rabbi. To uplift and inspire and bring joy was his reason for existing. Through his words of Torah, his music, and his stories, Reb Shlomo touched the hearts and souls of all who were blessed to hear him. He was born in 1925 in Berlin, and in 1939 he came to the U.S. He had a twin brother, Elia Chaim. He and his brother were the spiritual leaders of Congregation Kehillat Jacob in Manhattan. Shlomo had deep inner wisdom. His sincere and deep connection with others bonded him to all he met. So this is a hint. Which parsha do you think I might be talking about?
The bracha? Toldot. We had a two.
This is the family of light by David Friedman. And the parsha I'm going to talk about is Toldot, or generations. So this drash is about Shlomo's perspective on Parsha Toldot. You might remember that Isaac and Rebecca had a child when Isaac was 60 years old. They had two sons, Esau and Jacob. And Esau was kind of a rough and tumble guy, and Jacob was a quiet, serious, and studious guy. Isaac favored Esau, and Rebecca favored Jacob. Esau didn't hold his birthright in high esteem, and he traded it for a pot of red lentils. When it came time to pass the family heritage and blessings on to Isaac, and pass it on to Esau, Isaac thought he was blessing Esau, but he was actually blessing Jacob in disguise. He was disguised Esau with his mother's cooperation. So these generations, they were each one different. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. One represented Chesed and mourning and the Midbar, and one represented Gevurah and the fields, and one represented the mountains, which was the center line. So each one had their own time and space. Like one is associated with Shachritz, one's associated with Mincha, one's associated with Mari. And Yaakov is Mari and Yitzchak is Mincha. So Abraham exemplified Hashem's Chesed. He was obedient, he talked with Hashem. Yitzchak was disciplined, he was Gevurah. And he went one step further, according to Shlomo, in that he would stop anything he was doing as soon as God asked him. He could switch on a dime what he was doing. And then here Shlomo asked, he said, if peace were to break out today, would you be ready? Or would you say, wait a minute, I'm watching the Late Show right now. Tomorrow I'll schedule in some time for peace. Or I'm making a kumel. Tomorrow I'll have time to have peace. But right now I'm busy. And Yitzchak would not have said, right now I'm busy. He would have dropped the kugel, he would have dropped the Late Show, and he would have been ready for peace. And then there was Yaakov, who was the middle line. And so they each had their own personalities. So one of the main themes in this parsha, besides the generations, is that there were wells that Abraham dug. And they got filled in by the servants of Avimelech. And Yaakov redug Abraham's wells. Wells have water, You can reflect yourself in them, and you need water to exist. And also, wells are like Torah knowledge, wells of Torah knowledge. What Avram learned had to be relearned. So there's three kinds of wells. There's a well that you redig, like Abraham's wells that were there. And then there's wells that Jacob dug himself. He redug them wells. And then, so there were redug wells, new wells, and then digging into the original wells and going deeper. Like if you get building, you have to go deeper to get more water. Well, we also, with our Torah learning, have to go deeper. It's Torah knowledge, it only comes from actually working at it. And even if we can't work at it, we should at least be in it. We should be around it. Because if we show up every week, we will absorb some Torah. Because water, like water in the wells, fits the container it's in. And we have a container and it will fit us as long as we expose ourselves to it. We just have to keep working on digging those wells. There's no free lunch, no pain, no gain. You want to learn Torah, you've got to put some effort into it. And so we are those wells. So expose yourself to Torah, that's it. So the next concept I wanted to talk about is integrating both brothers within us. Open your hearts very deep, as Shlomo would say. There's two forces inside of us. One side is Yaakov. It's a spiritual force, the quiet, sincere voice that seeks truth, depth, and meaning. But he can be avoidant because he's afraid of making mistakes. That's one side. And there's an inner whisper that keeps telling Yaakov, you are capable of more. You were meant for more. That's inside of Jacob. The other side is Esau, which is a physical force, energy and discipline and movement and passion. That part of us that gives us life, drive, and passion for action, but can be lacking in thought, holiness, and depth. Sometimes not thinking before acting. That's Esau. Spirit is also spirit and matter, with Esau being matter, Jacob being spirit, or soul, Jacob, and body, Esau. We're not supposed to suppress physical forces. Don't fear them. See them as energy waiting to be realized and to be redeemed. Say to them, as the Baal Shem Tov said, I see you, I need you. Come, let's work and live together. When Yaakov leads and Esau provides passion, there's a harmony. Speak to Esau gently. He's scared, like a powerful horse that can be led gently. A person can walk through this world carrying the power of heaven and earth together. And that's what we need to do. Perhaps our main work in life is to speak gently to our physical forces. When spirit leads, the physical becomes holy and empowered. When the physical leads, the spirit becomes a prisoner. By allowing opposite attributes, we actually birth a higher level of being, of soul and of self. And here it talks about how Yitzchak wanted to bless Esau, and it said that Akiva and Yaakov have the same letters in them, except there's an aleph in Akiva. Right. But from Esau came Meir Baal Kanes, and it came Akiva and a few other very important people. And then Haman also considered that same line of Esau, like he wasn't Jewish. But Haman had descendants that taught in Bnei Brak. And I thought, oh no, that's not right. Can't be, but it is. It's in Gomorrah. And Haman, after the first party, went home and had relations with his wife, and she bore this child whose grandsons taught in Bnei Brak, taught Torah. So we need to have the two together. We can't leave Esau out of the picture. Beginnings and endings. Rivka, she knew about the beginnings. She found out who her kids were going to be when she was pregnant, when she was having trouble. And Yitzchak was the one who saw what could be way into the future. He saw the endings. That's why he wanted to have Esau and Yaakov, who eventually do have to work together. Yitzchak's prayers were the strongest prayers of any of the patriarchs, because he lived in Israel, and things that come from the land of Israel come with more energy in them and more force. The Helaman says blessings only come from the Holy Land, and they only come from a place where the eye doesn't reach, beyond choice. So like Yitzchak maybe didn't realize that it wasn't him thinking what to do. It was God coming through him that gave that blessing to Jacob. And there's a lot of times that God comes through us. It's beyond our thinking. It's beyond our personality. And so that what was going on there. So now I want to just share a little bit about my connection to Shlomo. I met Shlomo, that brave soul. He came to Indiana University, the land of the Stonies, and a big bedrock for Ku Klux Klan. And he came and he sang and he danced. And for me, he opened up the idea that being Orthodox Torah observant Jew could be something that could be fun. I never thought of my Judaism as fun. I thought of my Judaism as obligatory and right, but I wasn't drawn at all to Orthodoxy because I didn't think it was going to be fun. But it was so moving and so deep. So I was friends with him over 30 years, and I wanted to say that one time I was having trouble with a student. I was talking to Shlomo about it, and the student was just so aggravating. He was very aggravating, and he always tried to run away into this busy street. So then I either had to choose whether to leave the class and run into the busy street and get him, or stay with the class, and just one's missing, but the rest are being taken care of. And Shlomo said to me, well, think about the truth. The truth of Tuvi is that inside of him is a holy neshama. And I was always saying to Tuvi as he's running out the door, Tuvi, stop. That's what I would say. And that was how I talked to Tuvi. And Shlomo said, try saying, Tuvalev, how are you today? And I started speaking to Tuvi, Tuvalev. And you know what? Within 2 weeks, his behavior completely changed.
Wow. Yeah.
Because that was the truth that was inside of him. That was the truth that could respond to some softness, to some sweetness. And it was because of Shlomo that happened. So Shlomo came and sang for my student. And this is me over here. This is Shlomo. This is Shlomo. And I'm going to pass it around and you can see it.
What was he? This is your what? 30 years?
I knew from 90, I met him in 65. And I talked to him like 2 weeks before he passed. So we kind of were in contact a lot. He was wise because he cared. And at one point there was 10 years where we didn't see each other, and there had been an incident where it caused some physical damage, and I expected him to pay for it, and he didn't pay for it. So I had changed from living in Michigan to living in Colorado. I changed my name from Fern to Tzipporah. And we were in a circle and everybody's giving their name. And he looked at me, he said, Tzipporah, I know you. Oh, I owe you so much. This lady has been so patient. And he remembered me even with a different name and a different location. And he wanted to pay me for what he owed me. And so I told him if he could just give a concert for my students, that would more than cover what needed to be covered. And so he did. He came and he gave a concert, and you could see my little students running around. And the one that I'm the most close to in the picture is Tubi. He's a great leader today somewhere. And yeah, so that's my story of Shlomo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing the Torah and especially for sharing your personal connection. That's important for us to hear.
Welcome. My pleasure.
Okay. All right, so we've been learning for a while already laws bein adam lechavero. We started the topic achnasas orchim. Okay, we're going to continue with that topic. Okay, so if you remember a few weeks back, we talked about that actually the practice, the mitzvah of achnasas orchim, sometimes overrides other mitzvahs. So if you've got a guest and he's in your house and you want to get to the minyan, well, you have things that you have to take care of for this guest. He's making specific demands at that time. You actually would stay home and not go to the minyan because you would be taking care of that person. Or another example is that you have a guest in your sukkah. So the first night, the halacha is that if it's raining, right? So because the mitzvah d'oraisa is the first night of sukkah, to eat in the sukkah. So you wait. That's the custom. People wait. I don't know. I guess if the skies are opening up, maybe you don't. But I mean, if you wait a while to see if maybe the weather's going to change. That's how dear the mitzvah is to us.
Yeah.
If you have a guest, maybe not. If the guest is uncomfortable and the guest wants to eat and the guest doesn't understand, then you might actually be required to make kiddush in the house. And in other words, it's not clear exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but the idea is this is how important it is to treat a guest properly. This is the
How to translate to English?
Hafnasas orchim.
Yes.
A kindness to bringing in guests into your house and showing them kindness. Welcoming guests. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to read a little story here. So Yoni comes into the house. Hi, Mom, I'm back from the hike. As Yoni calls out as he piles into the door with his backpack. His friend trailed hesitantly behind him. Moshe's parents aren't home and his door is locked. So I brought him home to have dinner with us. I hope you don't mind. So I suppose not, said Mrs. Rosen with a sour face. Moshe sat down at the edge of his chair, dusty and sweating from the trip. He really would have liked to wash up a bit, but no one gave him a towel or to use or told him where the bathroom was, where the washroom was. And he was embarrassed to ask. He's a kid. He was also thirsty, having finished his water supply hours earlier. But since it didn't occur to Yoni to offer him a drink just a little before dinner, he had to wait. Famished from their long hike, Moshe was relieved when the family finally washed and sat down to eat. Eagerly took a portion from the central plate, but his appetite waned when he sensed Mr. Rosen watching him eat. Okay, had he taken too much? Was he not eating politely enough? Moshe took a few more nibbles and excused himself, asking if he could use the phone. He tried calling home and was thrilled to hear his mother's voice answering. After benching and saying a quick thank you, he ran with great relief to his own house. where he felt at home. Okay, this would be the exact wrong way to have a guest, right? We learn a lot of how we're supposed to treat a guest from this past week's parsha, where Avraham Avinu is the prime example of Hachnasas Orchim and how you're supposed to treat. Here, Avraham is sick, right? He's had a bris. It's the third day. He's feeling the worst from that experience, right? Hashem makes a hot day so nobody will come, but he can't stop Avraham. He's sitting outside waiting for guests, and he sees some people, and he runs. He runs, and he can't possibly do enough for these people. He insists that they come, and he gives them water to drink and to wash their feet, and he senses that maybe they're in a hurry. He says, I'll just give you a little, water and bread. But then he goes ahead and he makes a whole meal. Everybody knows, like, the 3 tongues, killing 3 calves for 3 tongues. Those poor guys, they could barely eat. He does it quickly. He does it, gives them a place to rest, a place to anything that he could do for these people to make them comfortable and to make them feel comfortable in their home. And so those are the lessons for us. We're supposed to be enthusiastic and wholehearted in our generosity to people who come to our house. We're supposed to feed them quickly, and we should, if there's not enough food, you apologize. You give them the best of what there is. Famous story. The Baal Shem Tov, came to this lady's house. She didn't have enough food. She made eggs. Baal Shem Tov says, this is a Shabbos dika moichel. This is Shabbos food. Eggs. Eggs is what you eat on Shabbos. You don't give the guest this during the week. But this is what she had to give, and this is what she wanted to give him, the honored guest. And not just because he's an honored guest. Everybody is the Baal Shem Tov coming to your house. Every person who comes to your house is the equivalent of Rav Moshe Feinstein, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, and the Baal Shem Tov. Everybody deserves that kind of honor and respect. Okay, so you dine with you've eaten already, and they come in a little late. You sit down with them so they don't feel like they're some kind of leper. You are eating with them. What else? You never look at a person's plate, which like they're feeling like you're measuring how much you took. It's terrible. Actually, I actually do look at people's plates because I want to make sure they took enough food. And then I say, oh, there's more coleslaw. Please help yourself. Or there's more. Don't take the meat. There's more. Please take. You have to just make sure that everybody's getting whatever there is to get. So, and lastly, you should never sit at the table with bad temper. You're having a fight with your husband. Not that I know such things about such things, but you're having a fight with your husband, and guests come in, and it's, hi, we're all happy here, and that's how you have to be. You have no room at that table for anybody to have ill feelings, because all it does is it make the guests feel uncomfortable, and that's the last thing that we want to do. So that is it. Yes, ma'am. Who's the movie star? Look at this movie star. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay. Okay. I think I want to get your autograph afterwards.
Okay. I need your feedback. One, if you have a neighbor that continually comes and barges in all the time.
Yeah.
What is their status as a guest? The second is a family member that comes all the time. Is he treated as family as a guest? The third thing is what we need to do when we are guests in somebody else's home.
Oh.
And I think that is one of the most important things, is how
Right.
we behave
Right.
when we're in somebody else's home. Number 4,
Wow.
I love the guests that come and eat my food, because when I used to have guests, I don't have guests anymore. But I always put on the table and I would make an announcement, whatever on this table is Hefker, please take, because if you don't, it might meet its fate somewhere else. You're welcome to take it. The best guests that
Wow.
I've ever had were kids that used to come and eat everything that I had. And the ones that I didn't like were the ones where I made special, and I didn't want them back ever in my home again. I wanted the ones that came and just pressed their heart out.
Okay. Wow.
But
Come
that's what
stand
I
up here, would you?
No, you
Yeah.
put the food on the table,
Okay.
whatever's there, that it's yours, it's not mine.
That's beautiful. That's
And
beautiful.
I think also, like I said, acting responsibly as a guest
Yeah.
is something that I become aware of, because maybe I'm more of a guest than
Right.
a host.
I'm going to talk, this talks about it. I'm going to talk about it a little later. I'll just say that as much as you're supposed to be, the host is supposed to be generous and does whatever they can, the guest is supposed to be, like take as little as makes the guest, as makes the host comfortable. Like, right, like here's this family with 12 kids and they're, putting everything that they've got for 3 meals out on the first meal. So maybe you don't want to eat, they've got one chicken between this whole family. Maybe you don't want to take, all that much. So you have to be conscious of, but listen, they want to give, you want to make them happy. So you have to be sensitive to what their needs are. And, but we're going to talk more about that. The other thing that I want to respond to is that people are, orchim are not necessarily your neighbors. I mean, it's very lovely to get together with people, but technically an oreach is somebody who's on the road. I mean, it could be a very, very wealthy man who could afford to stay at the fanciest hotels, and he's, his car breaks down in the middle of Queens, and he, makes it somehow on foot to Kew Garden Hills, and you take him in, you take him in because he's got, because that's an orech. That's somebody who has need, nothing to do with, so your neighbors are not necessarily orchim. Your neighbors are, not that you are rude to them and not that you're not nice to them, but they're not the same category as somebody who shows up at the back of the shul at the end of davening and is looking for a place to go. It's a whole different category. So, and somebody who comes over all the time, I don't know, just pick a gun. No, I didn't.
Can people come to somebody's house for Shabbos without invitation?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
What if they don't have anything extra? They just
Yeah.
make it short and all the portions get
Yeah.
signed up.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, is this a situation where somebody has no other place to go, or is it they just felt like showing
No,
up?
just a place, there's no
Oh,
nothing
okay.
special.
I'm not sure, but I think so. I think it also depends on the custom of the place. I mean, there was a time when before people had telephones and people, if you wanted to go visit somebody, you'd send them a postcard. When I first came to Israel, when I first came to Israel, I remember this. Like, you wanted to go see somebody on Tuesday, and you sent them a postcard. Hi, I'm coming. Well, because they didn't have phones. They didn't have.
The mail worked.
The mail worked. The mail was delivered the next day. It actually worked. So you could either show up or you could announce yourself that way. So I think, since communication was much more limited, people did do things like show up, and people did say, here, let me just pull over another chair.
Is it also a function of the place too? Because I mean, I know we were in shul sometimes and they would have a designated person who
My brother's shul.
every week, they
Yeah.
would stand up and say, if you need a place to go, talk to Mark.
Very nice.
If you
Very nice.
if you have an extra space at your table, talk to Mark. And Mark was a shopman for Hakmasat.
That's very nice. That's the way it should be.
Sharon, like a friend of mine. She never knew how many people had
Right.
been home.
Oh, yeah.
She
Right.
was making extra.
Right.
Right, yeah.
No, the shul that I used to go to in Washington Heights, they would unset the table when you came in. You know, you would bring home like a pack of people from shul, but there was always, 15 seat sets, 15 places set. So they take away the plates and and spread out a little bit. And it's a very nice thing. I mean, it certainly made you feel like, yeah, we got plenty here for everybody.
Well,
I would say that one of the principles that we founded the Institute on 43 years ago was really based on setting people up for Shabbos. So, and not always would know exactly how many people are coming. So, I did find myself a number of times having prepared for like 6 guests, and then there was 10. Baruch Hashem.
Wow.
I remember my husband coming in one day
Baruch Hashem v'tov v'samach.
from shul, and he says, "We're having peanut butter for lunch tomorrow." Because he brought home enough people to eat everything I had made, and I was like, fine.
Okay.
So we were expecting.
Okay.
It was a bracha, that peanut butter for lunch.
Okay. What did you want to say, Sibi?
I heard that you're supposed to make the guests feel like family. So when they come, you give them something to do, like, so they're part of it. They're,
Yeah, nice thing to
you
do.
put the silverware out, can you put the plates out, can you spread the tablecloth, whatever it is.
I think it depends on the person, like, some, like a woman certainly would, well, okay, let's not be. I think it depends on the person. Some people would really be very happy to.
It depends on the place. When we lived in Copenhagen, my husband would go daven at the main shul all the time. I always had cake and coffee on the table. He was always schlepping people home because it was a tourist place, and all these odds and ends would show up. And I never knew who would turn up at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You must be odd. You're ends, aren't
You
you?
never
Yeah.
know who's coming, and it turned out one of the families that came was this, really, you would know, this Levin, the attorney Levin, who was in charge of the Rebbe's, library.
Oh,
It turned out to be like.
Wow. very
You
nice.
just didn't know who was coming.
Wow.
Right,
Okay,
you
we're
never
gonna,
know the place.
all right, we're gonna go on to, thank you very much. Okay. So we're gonna go on and have some, we have some announcements. So let's see, first of all, first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who comes in the morning and sets up, and also thank you for, like, there's some people who have not been, or some of our regulars who have not been able to come, and I'm just very grateful to all the people who just show up and help and give a hand to make sure it's seamless. The food is there. So I appreciate all the regulars, and I appreciate all the guest helpers, and thank you. And could you come again next week? Yeah.
Somebody always shows up with fish and.
Oh, okay.
Convention.
And at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, Ilana's not teaching today, unfortunately. Oh, Susie, I'm sorry. It's your face. I'm responding to your face. But she.
1 second, talk about Ilana. Ilana Trachman, she is need a special antibiotic in the hospital. So they changed the operation for the next week.
Right, so she's now in the hospital getting an antibiotic. Okay. She says she does not want guests, but she doesn't mean it. She doesn't want to trouble anybody, but I'm sure sitting in the hospital for 5 days, not being so sick. She's on the 3rd floor, room, I don't know,
But they
3rd floor.
don't know yet. Maybe she will
Third.
go home and have antibiotic at home. They will decide today.
Okay.
But just you can tell a couple things. So Ilana, example of welcoming the guests. This is just example. She have people come to them. They pay attention to
A lot of Rivka
everybody.
Tova,
She talk to them.
but-
Sometimes people invite person, everything on the table, people sit, if nobody, if everybody ignoring. But she's talking, she's involved, she is just incredible.
Where is she on the 3rd floor?
Room
Tzipporah,
3,
yes.
but
We don't know yet.
it's best to call. Best to call. Yeah, she may be.
She will be home today, they decide today, maybe she have antibiotics,
We gave her
somebody will come
antibiotics
and
to
give
see
it
how
to
it's
her.
working. We're
So see, okay.
I have an announcement.
I
An announcement.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
doing it.
You get first
She's
dibs.
trying to-
No, I saw her. She'll get her turn. Thank you. I think it's Ilana, Rivka Tova, Rivka, Bas, Ita,
Whoa.
Bas, Ita, Chana, maybe? Ita.
Maybe you could put it on the post.
Okay, good idea. Good idea. Good idea. Okay, also, Rivka,
Ilana Tova Rivka, but Ethel Sarah.
okay, Ethel Sarah, thank you. Okay, also, unfortunately, Kaya Rivka Lapkin lost her mother. And so she'll be starting Shiva tomorrow.
Who is
And-
it? Judy.
Kaya Lapkin.
Uh,
So she lives at Herzl 5, Knisa Bed, apartment 3, and yeah, I'll post it, but the
Yeah.
hours are, 10 a.m. to 1:30, and then from 4 p.m. to 7:30, and that's Tuesday till Friday. And then, yeah, and I guess she gets up on, yes.
Because her mother's funeral is actually on Wednesday, I don't know if she really wants guests on Wednesday. That's what she told me this morning.
Okay.
Okay?
I mean, she wrote it in here, so I don't know.
I just spoke to her.
Okay, okay. All right, also, so we have a Tiyul. Did anybody see that? Did anybody read that? Okay, anybody happy about that? So it's on Sunday, November 30th. Okay, 2 weeks, okay?
Right.
Sunday, November 30th. And we'll leave here, the bus will start here with a few stops along the way like we've done previously. And we'll leave here at 9 and we'll get back here, I guess, like we'll leave Tveria probably around 5 or so. And we're gonna be going, where the tour guide is Yossi Stefanski, who everybody loves. And so we're gonna be going many, many interesting places. We're gonna the gateway to Tveria and the ancient the archaeological park and where Rebbe Nachman stayed and walked, and the synagogue of the Abulafia, and all the details were in the email, and they'll be put out again. But one detail that I didn't include.
Is there a charge?
That's the one detail I didn't include. There is a charge. There's definitely will be a charge.
Only 1 million.
I didn't finish with the bus. So as soon as I know what the bus costs, we'll know what the,
Okay.
it's not a long bus ride. So I'm hoping it won't be that expensive, but
To meet here, no, I.
yeah, let me just, you have your announcements. You'll get your moment. Okay, what?
You going swimming too?
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to stay, they could stay.
Yeah, but
Well,
stay where?
if you want to stay longer in Tveria,
Oh, okay.
like it's like a nice thing. We'll be near the Tayelet. That's where we'll have, we'll take a lunch break over there, a mincha break. And if anybody wants to, you'll be able to, you could buy coffee, that's for sure. And you could buy stuff there. There's bathrooms there. I don't know. He knows his way around
Going
there.
on a
He's
going on a teal.
going on a teal, right? Okay, also, we're having a jewelry sale.
All right.
Okay, on December 8th, because we do this before Hanukkah.
Right.
Hanukkah is the next week after that,
Yeah.
right? We will have classes during Hanukkah, okay, since
Okay.
we learn during the day and Hanukkah is mostly night, right? So, and there's actually only one Monday
Yeah.
of Hanukkah this year. So that will be our Hanukkah party. But before that, the week before, you want to buy some nice gifts for your daughters-in-law or your children or your nieces, mother-in-law. So you'll have that, they have that chance on December 8th. And also, if you're looking to get rid of some prized and dear, but sick of beautiful jewelry object. Ilana is accepting donations. She has a ton of stuff. Ilana Schachter.
And bring lots of money because I don't want to take any of it back home again.
Okay.
Bring your money.
Okay.
Bring your money here.
Okay, very good.
Good,
All right,
beautiful jewelry.
All right, also, there's a, right where Dova is standing, there's like a cheese knot, but there's a giveaway. Okay, so we talked about this before. If you have stuff that you'd like to give away, I mean, I don't know, if nobody takes it, I guess you can either take it home or we're gonna throw it out.
Yeah,
but,
it was happening.
all that stuff is, I'll get a box so that there's no question about it. So, but so if you, I mean, don't bring in like your whole, winter wardrobe that you don't want anymore. You have like one or two little things that you want to get rid of and you think, you don't want to throw them out. So then, you could bring them in here and everybody is welcome to take whatever you want. A moment.
I have a announcement.
Okay, you'll get your moment. Okay, also, today at 12 o'clock, or actually probably around 12:10, Adel is throwing an ice cream party for us.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that nice? Adel Resnick. And this is in gratitude to everybody's tefillah and everybody's help during this time that she's had so many problems with her ankle. And she's just grateful to the community and to all of the latees for all the help that everybody gave her and all the people visit her. So she wants to say thank you with this ice cream party. Okay, so that's and then at 12:30,